Hello, welcome. Oh, my lighting's odd now. Can you? Haha, thanks. So welcome. This is my first Facebook Live, and I'm happy to be sharing it with you. Hopefully this is just the beginning of many. Next year, in the next coming year, we'll be doing podcasts and blogging and some online courses to come soon as well. So I wanted to jump right in by saying why I got into this, first of all. So many of you who follow this Facebook page know that I had a Tune Into Your Body radio show at WPKN in, you can see my husband's hand reaching over. So know that I had a radio show at WPKN in Connecticut before we moved to Portland, Oregon a year and a half ago. So for those of you who enjoyed listening to me during my PKN radio show, hopefully these Facebook Lives and podcasts and things of that nature will help you feel connected to me and hopefully continue your education in natural living, natural medicine, and all sorts of choices that you can make so that you can tune into your body and make health choices that work for you. So how I got into this was after one of my Tune Into Your Body radio shows, I got a call from Rebecca. She is my mentor within Beautycounter, which I'll tell you more about momentarily. And she said, have you heard about Beautycounter? We're a personal care product company trying to get safer products into the hands of everyone. Do you want to know about us? And I said, sure. So we met for tea, and she was fabulous in discussing Beautycounter's mission of getting safer products into the hands of everyone. The fact that it was a certified B corporation, which means they put people and the planet on par with profits. And they're really about education first, product second, plus advocacy. So I've already been to my state senator's office with 11 or 12 other women to really work on this legislation for safer products. So what other company do you know that advocates for greater supervision and greater laws to regulate their own industry, right? So first of all, I'd like to direct you, and I'll put a bunch of these resources that I refer to within the notes from tonight's blurb. So just keep paying attention and tuning in if you're interested in anything that I'm saying and referring to. I'll give you a bunch of notes in postings over the next 24 to 48 hours. So first and foremost, I'd like to encourage you to use Beautycounter.com as a resource for a lot of the things that I'm saying today. And I'll give you some others as well, but really you can go there for a lot of references, a lot of links to other references, things that would be useful for you if you're really interested in more of what I'm talking about tonight. So first of all, why I do things like this is I see patients who have hormonal imbalances, who have had a strong family history of cancer, who are really trying to make the choices that they can make to control what they're being exposed to. Now, we all know we live in a toxic world. We live in a world that is full of chemicals that can affect our physiology. We cannot control everything that we're exposed to, but we can control what we can control. And that way, the rest of it, we just have to have faith that our livers are fabulous at doing their detoxification work and that we're fine, that we will really heal from what we get exposed to if we're minimizing that exposure. And personal care products are a great way to start with that. Now, I'm not a big cosmetic person in general. When I say personal care products, I'm talking about shampoos, soaps, lotions, deodorant, toothpaste, everything that touches our skin, our hair, our external. It affects what happens within. Our skin is not a barrier. It does not 100% protect us from what we're applying on the outside. So there are some estimations that women expose themselves to 12 to 18 products a day and men around 6. But soaps, shampoos, never mind any makeup. If you look at foundation, moisturizer, eyeliner, mascara, eyeshadow, blush, etc., you're looking at, half dozen to a dozen just there alone. Never mind moisturizer, cleanser, masks, scrubs, anything like that. So when we have control of choosing things that are safer for us, we can utilize that control. Oh, you know what? I just realized I'm seeing little things pop up And I can't see whether it's a question or not. Well, I guess I'll check questions and respond to them afterwards if I don't have time to respond to them verbally. So I want to talk about, we'll talk about some of the chemical toxicity, but I also want to talk about regulation. So I think often we're naive in thinking that products that could be dangerous wouldn't be on the market, wouldn't be for sale. We couldn't just go to our normal drugstore or our normal grocery store and buy products that are harmful to our health. And that's really, sadly, not at all true. The law in the US that regulates personal care product ingredients has not been updated since 1938. 1938 was the last time our law was updated. So why does this matter? In the European Union, they ban or restrict 1,400 different chemicals that they don't allow as ingredients. 1,400. In Canada, it's about 600. In the US, 11. So again, 1,400 in the EU, 600 in Canada, and 11 are restricted for use in personal care products in the US. Our laws are not protecting us. They're not protecting what we're putting on our skin, what we're putting in our baby's bathtub, what we're putting on our babies and children's skins, never mind our husbands, but our babies, our developing bodies, our teenagers as they're going through developing all of their hormones and getting their hormonal picture set up for life, and they're using potentially endocrine disrupting, hormonally disrupting chemicals on their bodies. If you can't tell, I get all worked up about this because it's not fair. It's not okay that our law has not been updated since 1938 and that we are exponentially behind the European Union on regulating chemicals within health and beauty products or personal care products. So when we look at what the US is allowing, that's why I and others and the Beautycounter founder, Greg Renfrew, decided to do so much advocacy, to ask for better regulation within the ingredients of the personal care companies. So one of the things that I think is important to talk about a little bit is what you can find or what you could be concerned about within personal care products. So things that Beautycounter screens for and things that I think are worthwhile paying attention to are things like heavy metals, certain preservatives that tend to have endocrine disrupting properties. There are known carcinogens, which are cancer-causing agents that are common ingredients that are used within personal care products. Sometimes companies can get around that if someone knows that a certain solvent, for example, tends to be more well known as a carcinogen, then they'll add something that is a precursor to that chemical. So you add the precursor and that's what you have to put on the label, but they know when exposed to X, Y, or Z other chemical, it converts to the carcinogen. Well, they didn't put the carcinogen on the label, but they knew full well that if they put the precursor, under those conditions, that carcinogen would form. So there are ways around even the lax legislation of the US, and I think it's important that we know this. So one first resource, if you take nothing else from this talk, is that I'd like you to go to the website EWG, environmentalworkinggroup.org, and search for their Skin Deep database. Take all of the products that you have for yourself, your partners, your children, your significant others, your roommates, anybody in your home, and run them through the Skin Deep database. What that does is it helps you understand what's in your products. They rate them from 0 to 10. I don't quote me on the exact numbers. I believe it's 0 to 3 are green, meaning they're relatively safe in neurotoxicity, cancer-causing, and allergenicity, or risk of having allergies. And then you have the orange ones in the middle, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. And then 8, 9, 10 being red, so super danger. So please, if you take nothing else from this talk, go to EWG, Skin Deep Database, and find your everyday products and run them through. And see if you're using products who have known ingredients to cause cancer, interfere with your hormones, when I talk about hormones, I could be referring to insulin and blood sugar management. I could be referring to thyroid hormones and metabolism management. I could be referring to male and female hormones, acne, PMS, infertility issues. Any of these can potentially be linked to the toxic chemicals that you're being exposed to on a daily basis. Now remember, you may say, oh, I only use one product daily. Okay, but you use it daily. And that day-to-day use increases your exposure cumulatively. So one little exposure every few months, okay, maybe not a big deal. But if you're using 6 different products on a daily basis, it adds up. It cumulatively burdens your liver and potentially could then build up within your system to cause toxicity. So I feel like there was something else about the Skin Deep database. So that's really the first place I'd like you to start with that, is just to go there and make sure that your products are safe. Now, what if your product comes back and it's a 4, 5, or 6, meaning in that orange range, it might have an increased risk of having chemicals in it that are harmful for you, but you're not really sure. Do you want to risk it? Look through the products, find products that are in that green, in that 0, 1, 2. Why risk it? There are so many things that we cannot control. We can't control going to a restaurant, maybe a restaurant's kind of a gross example, but going to a restaurant that just sprayed for termites the day before. We cannot control going to a hotel that uses all sorts of toxic cleaners in between its guests. We cannot control going to our place of work when they are using air fresheners in the bathroom that are carcinogens. We can't control all of these things. Not that we can't use our voices to request to minimize those, but you get my drift. But we can control what we're exposing ourselves and our family to on a daily basis. So it's important, and I'll put a lot of resources within the postings for the next 2 days or so that give you more information about where you can find certain heavy metals, where you can find certain carcinogens. I'm not going to ramble off a bunch of chemicals to you right now. It's more helpful, I believe, to write it down where you can see it and reference it, and then be able to cut and paste and Google search it or follow the links and things like that. So why Beautycounter, first of all? So it's because Rebecca called me after that radio show when I talked about toxicity, and she said, you really need to know about this company. It's education first. It fits in. You know what? I just realized I didn't even introduce myself for those of you who are new to Tune Into Your Body. So let me just take a moment. I'm Dr. Wendy Lee White. I am a licensed naturopathic doctor. I have a master's degree in food science with minors in chemistry and toxicology. And I have a naturopathic doctor degree with a master's of human nutrition along the way. I do food first and foremost, lots of lifestyle counseling. I do homeopathy. I practice 3 days a week in Portland Natural Medicine. And I also teach at the National University for Natural Medicine. I teach the psychology of eating, eating disorders and intuitive eating, and I will be supervising a clinic shift for the nutrition students. So that's about me. What I do is education for my patients, for my students, for the Tune Into Your Body radio show that I have in Connecticut, events like this, which I will be doing more of in the next coming year. This is important to me. I need everyone to know that they can be empowered to make different lifestyle choices, simple, easy, little everyday choices that really add up to have a big impact on the health of any given person, their friends, their family. It's really important to me that people know that they have choices and that they can be empowered to do that. So that's who I am. Sorry I didn't start with that. Again, this is my first one. I'm doing okay. So why Beautycounter? When Rebecca presented it to me, I really felt like there was a company that was on the up and up. They are 100% transparent. One thing that I think is important about 100% transparency is an ingredient, something like fragrance. You see it maybe on the end of most conventional products, right? Even some of the natural products. Fragrance means nothing. Over 3,000 different chemicals can be hidden under that label of fragrance. Anything, cancer-causing agents, endocrine disruptors, toxic chemicals of any nature can be hidden under a term like fragrance. Beautycounter is 100% transparent in their ingredient labels. So you will know that there is nothing else in there but what is labeled. And how they ensure that is their ingredient supplier customer quality. So an example of this is they were getting rose petals from a fawn that the tests they were making them into a floral wax. That wax was having phthalates detected in the final product, the final floral wax that was going to be an ingredient that went into, I think it was a lip sheer, lip color. So they went back to the rose petal supplier and said, hey, let's talk about your process. We're ending up with phthalates. From where are they coming? It turns out that as they were harvesting the petals in the fields of rose bushes, they were putting them into plastic bags. Then they were being stored outside in the warm weather in those plastic bags. That's where the phthalates were coming from, the plastic bags leaching into the rose hips. Once they identified that, they requested to the supplier that they use burlap bags instead of the plastic bags. Problem solved. And because Beautycounter was going to that level of detail and testing every single ingredient before it goes into a product, they were able to catch that and request that it be done differently. Problem solved. So that's a really good example of why they're really paying attention down to the very tiniest detail. They look at chemicals in their packaging, chemicals in their ingredients. They look at partnering with all these different suppliers who are on the same mission. Certified B Corporation, they're paying attention to people, the planet, as well as profit, because of course they're a business. So one of the other things I like, oh, hi Wally. Hey, nice to see you. One of my Connecticut followers, fabulous. I do hope to be doing more of these videos. That is my goal. I connected with an independent radio station here in Oregon, which is, I think, maybe even like four times the size as WPKN. And they had a lot of volunteer requirements before I was eligible for a show. And I'm a busy person. And I thought, well, I'd love to be affiliated with an independent radio station. However, I can do this. And so, yes, I hope to be doing this somewhat regularly, and the schedule is to be determined. But thank you for asking. I do hope to be doing this on a more regular basis. And while I can't hear your voices when you call in, at least you can post questions and I can answer them that way. So it's not exactly like a call-in radio show, but it's good. So thank you. So another thing that Beautycounter has partnered with 7th Generation, and they've done more activism for the Cleaning Products Right to Know Act. So just like Beautycounter is partnering with 14 other personal care product companies called the Counteract Coalition, if you Google that and find out more what they're up to. But literally, they are partnering with these other companies, 14 other beauty companies, 7th Generation, which I'm sure you're familiar with their household products. We're partnering with those companies to really go and actively request that legislation is enacted to regulate our industry better. And I think that's really impressive. How often do you find a company who's saying, hey, regulate me more? But Greg, our CEO, is doing that. She is saying this is absurd. It's appalling that we're allowing these chemicals to interact with our babies, our children, ourselves. We are better than that. We deserve better than that. So another thing that Beautycounter has begun looking into and working with this year is Tufts University. And they're doing a lot of their endocrine testing. So not only are they saying, okay, here's 1,400 chemicals that the European Union bans. Those are chemicals we know have enough data out there that they should not be used in our products. Not only are they doing that, they're then scouring the research and they're saying, okay, European Union hasn't embraced this yet, but we believe there's enough information here that we're skeptical, and these are another list of chemicals that we don't want in our products because the verdict isn't out yet. And then they're partnering with Tufts University to say, what are the other chemical ingredients that might be of a concern that we should be looking at, that we should be supporting funding and supporting finding out about more chemicals, more health effects due to these chemicals exposure. So it is important, and again, I'm going to reiterate, for anyone who happened to join late, if you take nothing else from this, go to ewg.org, which is the Environmental Working Group, and go to their Skin Deep database and search all of your personal care products. Find out which products are potentially harmful for you. Swap them out for safer products. Beautycounter's mission, safer products in the hands of everyone. That doesn't mean Beautycounter products in the hands of everyone. It just means safer products. So if you fall in love with the Beautycounter products, fabulous. You're in good company. But if for whatever reason you don't, that's okay too. Just explore safer products. Products that have less cancer-causing agents, less endocrine disrupting activity, less heavy metal concentrations. You want to make sure you're protecting yourself. You're minimizing your exposure to these chemicals that can potentially harm. So if you are interested in what I've said so far, hang in there and be patient and let me do a little bit more of a Beautycounter commercial. So if you're not at all interested, thank you for joining us, and you can disconnect and make sure that you check back within the next day or so that you can really see all the references that I put up for your information on different chemicals, different heavy metals, anything that you should really be concerned of that should be on your radar to be looking out for. But I'd like to share some information about Beautycounter because I do think that they're a reputable company. I love the fact that they're out there fighting for your safety, doing the advocacy work, doing the education piece. That's what resonates with me. That's what really sits well with me. So if you're interested in Beautycounter, go to beautycounter.com and you can, under their tabs of Never List and Our Story, their Never List is the 1,500 chemicals that they will never use as ingredients within their products. So you can click on the Never List, you can click on Our Story, and both of those will give you an abundance of resources that are all referenced, by the way, so that you can go and read up on, for those, scientific geeks that like the stuff that we're talking about, go read up on the study that was done on certain chemicals and their effects on the human body. So beautycounter.com is a great resource for that. Secondly, try their products. So I know that a lot of you are on the Northeast, my old stomping ground. And so if you're interested in finding samples or trying samples, connect with me because I can hook you up with other more local consultants who can help provide you those samples. Or truly, I can mail you products. I love sending care packages. I just, in September, sent out 38 little priority mailboxes to a bunch of different people and said, hey, I love these products. Why don't you try them? And then let me know what you think because I want that feedback of, oh, this product's a little heavy. I have fine hair or whatever it is. So check out beautycounter.com. You can order products if you are interested in saying, oh, you know what? I really am interested in this new holiday palette of eyeliners and blush shades. Let me try that. If you don't totally love it, you can return it within 60 days. So there's minimal risk. If you ever work with a consultant, you don't have to work with a consultant. Let me even back that up. A lot of people are concerned that Beautycounter is a multi-level marketing and they get scared off and they're not interested. Let me just be clear. You can go direct to the website, direct sales. Go directly to beautycounter.com and place your order if you don't want to work with one of us as a consultant. Totally fine. You don't get the personal attention that you might get if you order through one of us who are consultants, but you have that choice. You can order through them directly, or you can work with them. Either way, there's no pressure. It's all that we can do to spread the message of safer products are right, and they're available, and they're effective. So you can become a client. You can host an event, a tea, a social, a chat with friends where you try products, you play with the makeup, you play with the cleansers. I personally tend to use the skincare. I'm not a makeup person right now. I do have some lip color on, but I don't have foundation. I don't have eye things. I just have lip color on. So I'm not a cosmetic person. I tend to use their skincare, and I'm quite fond of it. My 17-year-old daughter also uses their skincare. Her needs are very different from mine, so we use different lines of collections of products. But we're both satisfied with the collections that we're using. There's a membership program for those of you who are really invested in the products and say, oh, you know what, I know I'm going to be ordering from them on a regular basis, so why don't I get 15% off in product credit and free shipping and all those things if you join the Band of Beauty membership. And then, of course, if you're interested in doing this as part of your mission, as part of your personal portfolio of how you get good information out to the world, then you can join as a consultant as well. So right now, what you can do to follow up, again, really go to Skin Deep Database, go to ewg.org, and look up all of your current products and find out where your toxicity lies. If you have products that are in the orange or the red, swap them out for safer products. That's first and foremost step. Whether it happens to be Beautycounter products or other brands, either way, just get safer products into your hands and the hands of your family. And if you're interested in finding out more about Beautycounter as the company or as their products, go to beautycounter.com. And that will help you learn more about the company, why it was founded. It's just a mom looking for safer products, appalled that her products that she was using for herself as well as for her children were not safe. Don't be lulled into thinking that just because you can buy it at the grocery store or the drugstore that it's automatically safe. It's absolutely not true. Remember, 1938, that was the last time any personal care product ingredient legislation was passed. 1938. So with all of that information, I will leave you. I will be posting all sorts of references and tidbits and info on this Tune Into Your Body Facebook page over the next 24 to 48 hours. If you have other Facebook Live talks that you'd like to hear me chat about, then please write them in the comment section. That way I can address any topic that you'd like to learn more about. I will go into whatever detail you'd like to hear. For science body geeks who want to hear more about the physiology, give me that feedback. For people who want overviews and lifestyle tidbits, give me that feedback. I miss my WPKN radio show. I miss having people call in questioning me. So let's turn this into a community where you can learn from me, I can learn from you, and whatever topic you want to hear, if it's not something I'm an expert in, I'll do the research and we'll talk about it together. So with that, I thank you all for listening. Look into the notes for resources, and hopefully I will see you again on another Facebook Live event soon. Thank you. Have a great night.